Announcements. Okay, so we're going to start off with the reading. So we're still reading this Meditations with Hildegard of Bingen, and we're going to read a couple of poems from this book. Has 3 chapters, so it has part 1, God the Divine; part 2, Cosmos, the manifestation of God; and part 3, Humankind, co-creators of divine manifestation. So we're going to be reading from co-creators of divine manifestation. The marvels of God are not brought forth from oneself. Rather, it is more like a chord, a sound that is played. The tone itself, the tone does not come out of the chord itself, but rather through the touch of the musician. I am, of course, the lyre and the harp of God's kindness. And here's the next one. God has created me. God is my Lord, having dominion over me. God is also my strength, for I can wish to do nothing good without God. Through God I have living spirit. Through God I have life and movement. Through God I learn, I find my path. If I call in truth, this God and Lord directs my steps, setting my feet to the rhythm of his precepts. I run like a deer that seeks its spring. So really enjoy her poetry. Today's topic is freedom is the power to transmute. And we're going to, transmutation is a huge, it is a phenomenon that happens, transmutation, within all parts of our being. And transmutation, if you were kind of to simplify it, would be change. It's a change that occurs. And we were taught, that we are able to transfigure into light. And we are light bodies. We are that. So if we take a step back and we look at transmutation, this change, for one, we need to realize it's not changing to something that's outside of us. It's changing within the cells, within the DNA, within the various, it's expressing, it's the ability to express things that are already there. It's not that we're changing, trying to pull different things in and take out stuff that's bad. It's not a judgment in that way. So freedom is the power to transmute. If we take this step by step, perhaps we say, freedom is the power to change. Many of us know how hard it can be to change ourselves. We have these conditioned reactions, these instincts. And this, what also can come into play here is the intuition and our guidance. We are conditioned in this realm to believe certain things: good, bad, ugly, wonderful, lacking mentality, abundance mentality. We have all of these conditions and instinctive instincts that have helped us to survive and evolve on this planet. Many of us are chained to our instincts and our habits. These habits, these instincts can limit our ability to move, our freedom. We think that, we might think that to be spiritual is to be poor, for example. So, for example, if you're want to build a hospital, to provide health care for people so that they can heal and focus on God. Our freedom to do this, our ability to move, is limited because we block our ability to receive the funds to build the hospital. So this manifests in so many different ways in our life. And this is why we do our practices. This is why we practice meditation, mindfulness, and all these exercises that we've been given and shown so that we can have that awareness. So say, for example, you're trying to change a part of your life. If you're trying to quit beating yourself up. So say you kind of realize, like, hey, I can be pretty hard on myself. And you can notice this, as we've talked before, because we're hard on others. So freedom is the power to transmute. Our first step would be to realize it. And this is a huge step. And to accept it. And to accept it with kindness and love. To say to ourselves in a loving way, hey, I notice that you're beating yourself up. Or I notice that you get very uncomfortable when people want to give you something. If you're talking about this lack consciousness, this realization of this obstacle. Once we realize the obstacle, we start to bring in the violet fire of transmutation. And what is the violet fire? That's our red and our blue. Red is love, represents and brings love and action. And it also has it's also the security and kind of the trust. So with this, it's the security that, you're not alone. you have backup. We'll call it backup. So we have this love, this action, this security, this comforting, warm energy. So when we realize this habit, we can approach it in love, with love. Hello, way that I think or way that I act, or this instinct that causes you to act a certain way all the time. You can talk to it and love it. Give it love. But at the same time say, we're going to be starting to take some action to heal this, to, give the love. In next will come this blue ray, or simultaneously, because it's this alchemy of the violet fire. And the blue is the truth and the expression. And it's this spiritual power of God. So we can look at this, and we'll call it an obstacle now, because these habits, these instincts, they're actually our obstacles that we work with when we're trying to shift or change or transmute certain energies in our lives. So this blue comes in and it's the truth. What is the truth? We know we are that. I am that I am. We're not alone. We have love. We are loved. We are supported. So it's this red and blue energy mixing. This truth, this expression. And it's the spiritual freedom mixing to create this violet transmutation power. And it's done in love and truth and tipped with wisdom. So we have the wisdom. This is freedom. Freedom is the ability to change directions. This freedom to clear certain things out of our life, to heal, to take these baby steps in our divine purpose, taking action, truth and action in love, expressing it. And one of the habits, when we think of expression, we think of, talking or saying it. But as we learn, it's thought, word, deed. It starts with the thoughts. So you can start with the thoughts, expressing our thoughts, expressing love, this awareness, consciousness, so that we can transmutate our being to serve God, to be that, to do divine will. One of the challenges here is discerning between divine will and intuition. No, I'm sorry. Divine will, intuition, and our instincts. We can have these great realizations that we need to shift a certain way of thinking or a consciousness or an action that we're taking. And we say to ourselves, perhaps like, I'm deserving and I deserve to receive. I see this happening to me. And then this is what they say about vision boards too, that you can create this beautiful vision board, but if you're looking at it and saying, I can't really have that, or that's not really in the cards for me. No, it is. So it's this internal battle. This is where we need to call on our guides, on God's power, on God's will to help us. And in love, to do it in love, in truth and love. The instincts and the conditioned reactions can be so powerful. We are our own obstacle. We stop ourselves up. We need to call upon our Creator in these times and trust and forgive ourselves. If we say, I'm not going to judge this person anymore. I'm not going to judge them anymore. And then all of a sudden you're just hurling judgments at them. Recognize, stop, realize, apologize. This is where the Ho'oponopono is very helpful. Forgive yourself for doing that. And recognize, say, okay, my conditioned reactions, my instincts, my patterns, my old habits came in at that time and, continued that pattern. So this takes time and practice to realize this freedom, this power to transmute. It takes time and practice, but then at the same time, there is no time, so it is happening in an instant. And one of the things that we can do is look at our lives, this life, and it's not to pat yourself on the back or, say, wow, but in a way, it's recognizing, because if we are constantly working forward, moving forward, take a moment and do a self-inventory. And there's a lot of tools to do self-inventories and recognize where you've come from, the progress that we've made to this moment. And this is also realize we can do it. We can do it. And no, God, nothing is impossible with God's power, with God's grace. We are manifesting. We are manifestors. This is the freedom. Here. We are here. We are free. We are free to exercise God's will. We are getting out of our own way. We can use and it's not just the red and the blue and the violet that come into play here. All of the chakras are important and should be, not should be, but are in balance and healed. That we're not swayed this way, that way, this way, that way. We're steady. We're given the tools to climb the mountain. This is the great I am. And this change is possible, this transmutation, this expression of love in thought, word, and deed. Thought or word or deed. They'll all interact with each other, and the expression will not be just this or just that. But we can start with where we know we need. We can start with the thought and express that love and forgive ourselves when we realize we've done things, and send love to ourselves, send love to those who we think we may have hurt, or we're not good enough, or whatever obstacle it may be. Allow this violet fire to burn away all of the Maya and glamour. And it may take practice, and it may be done in an instant. And have faith. Have faith in God, and have faith that this is possible. God is more powerful than we could ever. And a lot of people get stuck in this reality that we think we're in, when in actual reality, all possibility. Miracles happen. And we are miracles. We are the violet fire, that transmutation power. We are free. We have that freedom. Love and truth. Truth in action. Peace in action. So thank you, and have a beautiful week. We have a big full moon coming up. It's the snow moon, and it just started snowing. So please prepare for deep level meditation. Also, we just want to make a quick announcement about the Ustream. Some people have been having difficulty watching Ustream with the website. Just go straight into